Hello, I am Macey Cherry. I'm at the Soundbox production studio, and today I will just be building a track from nothing. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so I am building a track from scratch today, and look, I got nothing to say, so I'm just gonna get straight into it. I have firstly built myself a sub before the session started, just because I actually want to zoom in on this other technique of sound design. I didn't want to spend too long on the sub. I still want to be able to like build this track enough to get it, to a good stage. So I did build a sub previously, but we'll go through all of that. Okay, so I'm gonna set out a kick here. I've already set one up in the simpler. So just to sort of break it down very simply, because people might watch this and they might have no idea what they're doing. So I will be super simple about stuff. If you're a producer already, this is more of like a beginner sort of thing, I would say. So essentially, when I start making music, what I will do is I'll start from the drop, actually. So I know a lot of people actually like to start, from the back end and stuff like that, but ever since I started writing from like the drop and just trying to get that down and get that all mixed in right and sitting nicely, it turned out so much better, just workflow wise. So I am going to start from bar 33 at the top. Also just going to like highlight, I'm only going to work on this section right now, because that is actually what I do. I just work on like a little bit of the drop each time until it's like really fat and big, and then I find that it's actually easier to build out like the intro and whatnot. So what I do, I'm gonna do like a riddim-y sort of track. You can see my kick is riddim-y, 140, typical. So yeah, let's start with the kick. I popped one of my favorite kicks into a simpler. I've done nothing to it. I've just literally put it in a simpler. So now I'll just like lay out some MIDI notation. I'm also going to turn the sub off until I'm ready to be listening to that. Nice, I like it so far. I'm just going to turn my volume up a bit. Sick. Okay, so the kick is sort of like punchy right now. So one thing I did learn actually was to pull it in so it's not so like sharp. There, sorry, I was looking for that end. See how you can kind of hear like a bit of a on the end, there's like a bit of a tail there. So I kind of like cut it so it's not a straight drop. See how you can hear there's a little pop at the end? That's what I'm trying to avoid, essentially. Like, that's good, that's good. Even just something small like that's really important for the end mixing. I used to like get on here and try and find really big dubstep kick, dubstep snare, they used to be massive, and ever since I started just trying to find something super simple, like simple snare, like clean basic snare, clap, whatever, it was so much easier to get everything flowing. So yeah, try and use like smaller sorts of instruments. I might even just go like these there for now. Okay, so processing on the kick, what I would do here is I'll add it's always fun to add a bit of a saturator, saturator. I Command F, just type it into the top and Command F. Some people don't know that, and Command F changed my life. Okay, Command F. So I kind of drive it up a bit. Oh my God, one thing I forgot to say. So see this, I didn't know this either, simpler. See how it's automatically -12 volume? Yeah, that can really mess stuff up. Put that up to 0. I don't know what that is, some sort of glitch. Okay, now you can hear it's actually like really harsh. Do not need my volume as high as I had it. Okay, sweet. So like always make sure if you're using simplers, pull that. It's like, yeah, I don't think it's just me. Other people have had that too. But yeah, that was one thing I also keep in mind. If you're using a simpler, pull that volume up. It's automatically on -12. Like why? Okay, I don't need much of a saturator. You can hear that it's like super punchy. Like I might even just like punch it and then like take it out with EQ just for that clean like EQ everything. Maybe not that one, maybe the number two. A lot of my stuff you like is trial and error for me. I'm like, what sounds good? You know, there's no sort of like I know people do it in a different way, but like yeah, mine's a lot of like stabbing in the dark type beat. Like just chuck like a dip in there. It's still even like too hectic. I don't even need the saturator. It's such a nice kick on its own. What am I doing? Okay, let's go with like a snare or a clap over the top of that. So actually, you know what? I might go with like a clap. I know this one. I always use this one. Terra. So, got a lot of Akuma stuff in here. Akuma is like one of my favorite producers. She just like kills it in every session. I try and copy her stuff. Like I try and do her sessions. I'm like, damn, I can't do this. I'm gonna put it into a simpler again. Oh, right, that's an audio track. Might want to put in a MIDI track. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the snare in. Nice. Change that to like snare so I don't get confused. Naming conventions are important. Make sure you do them. I like used to just like leave my tracks in a massive mess. And yeah, it's no good, you know, when you're trying to like get it all together in the end. It's just so hard. So I'm gonna go like kick, snare over the top of this other kick, and I'm gonna try get it sitting nicely. It might be a little hard, but like let's see. Shouldn't be a problem. That is a nice snare. Damn. So I'm surprised at how easy that came together. That like I feel like I don't even need to do processing on that even. Like it's just so nicely done. Again with chopping stuff, remember chop it up. I don't like you don't need all of this like you know all of this little stuff. Okay, it's coming together. Nice. I'm gonna go with some EQ on this now. I'm just doing very basic processing. You know, there are times where I need to do like a lot more than this, but right now the instruments I've chosen to use are like so strong. I feel like, yeah, sometimes it's better just, it's just all good, you know? Okay, because it also is sitting over the top of the kick, you don't want this like clashy sound at the end of that. Even though it kind of sounds fine, like it won't, like you will hear that, you know, on speakers and stuff like that. You hear when like stuff's hitting over the top of each other. So essentially to get it sitting nicely, I will kind of chop that there. See how I really did not need a lot of that low end. It sounds the exact same, cutting that out, like you don't need that. Okay, and hitting too far forward too, you can hear like, see how it starts to get like a bit tinny, like, see, it's like lost all of its punch. We don't want that. We want it both sitting nicely together, punching nicely together. Okay, sweet. I'm actually going to put some reverb. And I learned this one off Jikui. I learned this. I found this stock plugin because Jikui had it on one of his breakdowns. And hybrid reverb is so awesome. Wow. I know that lower versions of Ableton don't have it. So, okay, too much hybrid reverb. Just turn it down. Don't need all of that. I'm sure you can hear those reflections coming out of that reverb. Just kind of fills it out a bit. Even though it's just a kick and snare, it's kind of coming together nicely. This is, I don't need that channel. Kick, snare, reverse kick. Sometimes you can do like a little reverse kick. I'll touch on that in a minute. I want to touch on some hi-hats and whatnot, because I feel like the hi-hats are where it comes to life. Like, I didn't realize they're so important. I used to just be like, one line of hi-hats, but like, no, they're actually, they flow the whole thing, you know? It's crazy. I didn't realize how important they were and how important it is to get them in a nice formation. Sometimes I even like use like a loop, not to even, like, I don't use the loop, but I use the loop for placement of where I can put my own hi-hats. Placement and structure of them is, yeah. Okay. Quit yapping. Okay, so I'm just going through all my samples. What I always look for is I look for like a strong closed hat first. Closed hat, strong closed one. These are pretty strong. Freaking loud. And look, it sounds good here, but then sometimes I put it in and it doesn't sound like good. So just bear with me while I find ones that work, you know. I like that one. It'll come out nice with some EQ. Also, totally ignored my previous advice. Like, I ignored it. Cut the tail off. Don't need the tail, so I'm just gonna replace that. Also, I know there is easier ways of like, I think it's like Alt Option and stuff like that, but I'm used to copying and paste, okay? So just like, let me have it. Let me have it. Okay, so I like where they're sitting. Let's process the shit out of them. I didn't put them in a simpler because honestly, I'm just kind of being lazy. It's just easier for hats. It's, a lot of people put them in a simpler to get them into like D, or like to make sure that they're hitting the right notes and whatnot. I've come to this artistic choice where I will put like the kick and snare in the right key, but like I just leave those hats because like it's too hard and I sort of just do it by like ear. Yeah, I feel like. Okay, hats. So in the EQ, you can see like, you know, again, a lot we do not need. So let's pull up. Pull up. And let's go in with some hybrid reverb again. Also, posture check. Is everyone's posture good? Mine's not. See the hybrid reverb effect? It's gorgeous, so crisp. Can really appreciate a good closed hat. Okay. It could even be just a little bit too much, but I kind of like it. All right. Let's mess
Actually, I won't do delay yet so it doesn't get too muddy. I'll set up some other hats and then I'll see what would be fun with delays and whatnot like that. Because delays on the hats are pretty cool. Okay. Ride. Let's look for some rides. I love rides. I didn't know they were like a thing. Okay, ride. I actually might just find like a ride loop. See how that goes. Just because I like the way that the loops kind of hit a bit more. I can set my own rides out, but let's... No, I don't like that one. Might actually just find my own. Also, maybe move away from Akuma samples. Try and mix it up. Too long. I mean, I'm looking for a short one. It's good work. Let's mark it as a favorite. Color coordination is awesome too. You just literally right click that and yeah, you can, yeah. I like that one, but let's see how it goes in the mix. A lot of, yeah. Okay, and a cool, like, you know, when I first sort of seen rides getting set out, I was like, they're so big, you know, how, but you actually do this with them. It's really cool. Hang on, I'll just keep. So you actually just take all the volume off them. Simple as that. For me anyway. Hang on. For taking volume out, some people do it on the side, but I actually do it through the utility belt in Ableton. It gets really hard in the final mixdown again when, you know, all of these are at different volumes. You're like, damn. See how the rides are sitting nicely at the back now? And I'm letting the closed, here, I'll label that so y'all can see. Closed hat take the lead, and the brides are just kind of following now. Damn, I feel like the closed hats are a bit even sharp still. I might use a different, yeah. Now, see, this EQ isn't as like a harsh of a chop. Okay, sweet. I might find, yeah, some toppers, underlayer pack. Actually, I'm just going to keep looking for hats because clearly my toppers are all just not really suitable. And what I start trying to think of like little patterns in my head, you know, like and stuff. And I start trying to kind of like make little patterns with them. So I think I'm doing a shaker and not a hat, but I will still do what still like I'm humming like a shaker and I'm trying to make it with a hat, but let's just still use the hat. See how there's just like another layer there now? I probably am going to move them around and stuff. I'm still sort of fiddling with these guys. Um, that's what I like to do. I like to fiddle around with the hats and see what sits nicely together. And I'm also going to pull like this loop out that I use to just sort of make sure I've got all of the spaces filled. I use the loop to like, for placement. I don't use the loop, if that makes sense. Hang on. There. I'm gonna pop some EQ on that too. As you can hear, it's like clashing already because we're running out of space for like already for hi-hats. So this is like where it gets it, like you've got to be like shifty with it, gotta be on it. Okay. It's like this loop that I use. Riddim loop. Is that it? Okay, I'm going to use that one actually. I really like it. I think it's got a really good flow. And see now, like this is what this is the easiest way that I found to like get everything. Because I used to be placing hi-hats and stuff everywhere and like, you know, I'd be like, well, at the end of it, it's so hard. So like, it's really good to see how other people have set their hi-hats and claps and stuff out. So at the bottom, you can see this loop here. Now they've got one there, I've got one there, sweet. They've got one there, I've got one there. They've got a big one there. I look all good. So like, let's. So instead of building, all I need to do is essentially just build another like, but it's actually right in front of me. I'm just going to use that to cut down time as well so I can get into the other stuff. But I'm going to chop it up a little bit. That's what I was looking. See what I mean? Like I have to kind of fiddle around. I like sometimes I know straight away, but I like to sort of fiddle first. Also, I'm just gonna see with a spectral analyzer. I think that's what it's called. Is it Spectrum? Spectrum? Yeah, Spectrum. I could use the tuner, but Spectrum is kind of dope as well for it. Sometimes the tuner doesn't show me. I'm just using Spectrum to see what key I'm in with the kick. And how you do that is you sort of get to the highest point of where it's hitting and you see that. So we're in like an F. I like it better in D, so I'm just going to move us over to like D with the kick. Also, I'm going to take Spectrum Analyzer off after I do not need it anymore because that thing eats your CPU a lot. And I always try and run the CPU in like the safest way. I will check the kick snare too. It's sitting so much nicer in D. Sweet. Okay, EQ on this bad boy because we leave nothing un-EQ'd. It's going to be a little hard to EQ because it is a bit of a loop there, but let's see. Also, again, no set rules on this EQ. You just have to go with what sounds good, and if you hear clashing, pull it down. I might try and see if a shaker goes in well. I was going to leave it and move on, but I really just want to see if a shaker goes in. But this is how important it is to get all of your kicks and stuff right, you know? And see how it's like built the track like already? That's a good shaker. Gonna favorite that one off. You can do whatever with shakers. They're just so like chill. You can even like, I won't go, just not this one. They actually put a little bit of movement in. Nice. The EQ on that's hilarious. I might even just pull it out. Just not to self that. Go back on that. All right, let's delay. Let's see if again, sometimes delays can be not what you want, but I'll test it out. So with delays, there is a kilohertz delay that I like to use, but I actually have been getting cool results out of this one. So that's the stock Ableton one. I'm so proud of the work that delay just did. Good job. Okay. Another thing that you can do, but you know what, actually, so I don't stay too long in the hat section, I will show you in a different section. And again, clean up your stuff. It's not hard to just do it on the spot. Okay. Sub. Let's have a look. So what I did for this sub, and I have another one that I might actually use that sounds a little better. Look at my preset name, Macey Sub Babe preset. How funny. Okay. This had like nothing to it. I remember just like being on this sub that I made in Serum, and I was like, blah, blah, oh, cool. I like made it, I didn't even like mean to. So essentially all I've done is oscillator A. I haven't even put a freaking shape on it, like what. I've also done some stuff here with the envelope, all of that, effects, only distortion. I don't actually have it hitting in like is it like the BPM, right? It's the inch, because it just sounded better. Like this was purely just me sitting in Serum, like if that makes sense. So I started out with that, and then I added like this rack to it. I have a lot of racks from all my friends from like so long ago. Like sometimes I find them and I'm just like, who the hell gave me this? But let's try it. Like I don't know who gave them to me. I don't know how I have like certain racks. Sometimes I make them, but yeah, I saw this sub rack, and it just gives you more laceration, or well, I don't know the right word, more maneuver over this sub here. I don't know if you can hear it through. You can hear that saturation. See how I love like that? I love that rack because you can just create like nothing in Serum, and the rack will bring it to life. I will show you like this other rack that I've made. I just need to, it's like favorite sub fave, something like that. Hang on. There. Haha. Wow, this is a big one. This is a good sub. I'm just going to take the MIDI and transfer it down to here so you can hear it. I love that sub. I'm so glad I picked this one instead. That one can go. Okay, this one. So this one, again, it's just like my sub babe. Sub babe. A lot of the work's coming from three-way split rack. So again, you have like all of like, I need the word for this. I can't find it right now, but you have all of the leverage over the lows, mids, highs with this one. Oh, Akuma made it. Sweet. There you go. I'm just like Akuma everything. So the clip shifter on the end is actually really important. I got that from somebody. That should be on everything. So clip shifter is like a limiter. It is designed to be on like all your groups, all your kicks, and every single thing on there. I haven't been putting it on because I forgot I just remembered that it existed then. But I will go through and put the clip shifter on, but for now it's just going to be too time consuming for that. That's what it looks like. Oh, sorry, it's not on the screen. That's what it looks like. But yeah, the clip shifter is pretty cool. It's probably online somewhere. Okay, sweet. Sorry, I was just sort of like listening for what to do next. And next, I think let's hit into the sound design where I wanted to go. So you can see that my project is set up so neatly. Thank you, Definitive, for giving me such a neat project template to work with. It's been such a godsend. Okay, so I was just saying actually before, I could build this for you guys. The thing is, this one technique, every time I build it, I have like all different results with it. So I might actually just show you one I built just like yesterday, and we'll go through exactly everything I did from start to finish. So you still get everything, but it's already like that way I'm not sort of like, okay. So I've opened a MIDI channel and I'm gonna put Serum onto that. For those of you who don't know what Serum is a plugin that you use to create sounds. It's plugged into Ableton. You can also resample stuff too. Only I didn't know that. Didn't know. Okay, I'm gonna get my sound up. Give me a minute. My naming convention is the best. Square 4, okay. So I'll just give you guys like a little what it sounds like. So to activate the keypad, I just hit that little red bad boy there. That is a good sound. I just appreciate sound, you know? Every time I hear a really nice crisp sound, I'm like, but that's a Square 4 sound technique that I've been using at the moment. So where I started with this, so nice. Where I start with this is I go into, so open Serum, open a blank Serum, and then you go into pencil tool. Now I go to this fuzzy bad boy here, and I put the fuzzy bad boy onto these here. I would name this better for you, but I guess you could call it a grid. I would put it into this section of the grid. I sort of make it around like, you know, little fuzz, not too big. Sorry, that's the first, what it should look like. Little fuzz, not too big at the start. And then I will plus symbol that. So I'll create another one, another layer. And then I'll make the fuzzies a little bit bigger. And then on this third one, so again, plus it again, but then you extend that fuzz all the way. Should look like that. And then you hit the plus again, number 4, and then fuzz that up. See how it's just, yeah, fuzz everywhere. You can move the fuzz. I don't want to move it because it's real. The sound design is so dependent on this. Why it keeps getting, that's why it comes out different every time, because I do a different fuzz sequence. So whatever fuzz sequence you do, like it's going to be different. So I don't want to move it. But after you fuzz it, you process it, and you hit X fade. It's not 16 samples. It's X fade grid size, X fade edges grid size. So you do that, and then you go morph, and you go to more, it's morph 0 fund, yeah. So morph spectral 0 fund phase after that. That sounds crazy. And then you get out of that. Okay, and then from here, it'll start to sound like, sort of like a buzz. Should have like a nice buzz there. Where you get that swing that you can hear, comes actually from the wavetable position just here. So I will start messing with that wavetable position again. I'll mess with it now. I can remember where it was. Damn, all of those sounds are so nice and crunchy. Okay, then after that, I'll actually get the level and I'll start moving that around as well. I will hit 1.5 on the first LFO. Also drag LFO 1 onto level 1. Sorry, there's LFO 1. Sorry, not level. Wavetable position. That's what I've done there. Drag LFO into the wavetable. So we've done the pencil, you do the fuzz, then you go over to the wavetable, drag the LFO onto the wavetable, and pull that filter down. And again, there is no, like, don't look at my filter and be like, she's got it right there. Like, what sounds good? What, you know, it's a hard piece of sound design because it turns out different every time. This was just like a really cool one that came out from it. Okay, and then I will put it from FM to B2, and I'll start swinging that around too. The reason I'm not... Look, I'll do it now. See how it's so different, each sort of like movement. Each movement is very powerful, so you got to find what works for you, you know. Also, turn the rand completely off. This thing caused me so much problems. The rand makes it start from a different section every time, I think. So it's different. It's showing you not the true sound every time that you're listening to it. Such a mess around. Some people really like it though. I guess it comes in handy, but yeah, for me, I turn it off. Okay, then let's look at what I did on LFO 2, and I feel like I did that way too fast, so I'll just quickly say again. We went to the pencil up here. We did the fuzz. Then we went over to the wavetable position. We dragged LFO 1 onto the wavetable position, and we messed around with the filters until it felt right. Then we went from FM to B, and then we went level. I also messed around with the level, and then the rand came completely off too. So now let's move on to LFO 2. As you can see, significantly more going on with this one. So we have it on actually quarter note, woohoo, square four on that. But then we also have it like, so we have LFO 2, we have it on 1 to 4 quarter, but then that quarter LFO 2 has been dragged onto wavetable position and the level, so they'll both be reading that quarter note as well. So that gives you, see how it's like swinging so hard? All of those knobs combined help that swing. So the fuzz helps the sound, and then the swing actually comes from like the wavetable position, FM to B, level, all of that. So in LFO 2, you can also... It's so fast. I will go back to like 1/4 for now. Okay, and then I also dragged LF, because we've got the quarter note on LFO 2, so essentially I dragged it onto cutoff as well, and I dragged it onto the frequency. Again, no right or wrong, mess around with it until it hits into a nice spot for you. I do have the filter on like a high pass, but you don't need to do that. If you do have the filter on a high pass, turn that cutoff down. But yeah, you don't need to have that filter on. Whatever works for you. That's how you generate your sound. That's how I sort of generated my sound, you know. So FX as well. We have hyper. I turned it all, like the mix all the way off, because it just sounded like cool with it. So see how there's that sort of like me. A hyper just cleaned it up. And the cool thing you can do with it now is you have feasibility. That's the better word to use. Feasibility to pull that detune up and change the sound. Distortion is massive too. Distortion is very powerful. I put some distortion on it. I am in ASYM with distortion, but you can change that. Like, some people go with the X shaper. I know a lot of people use like down sample. I'm not going to use it for that. Even though it sounds like it's doing nothing, it really matters. All the little things matter. So that is my serum process, essentially. It leaves you with really cool swingy, which you'll hear in songs that I've got coming out soon. But this is more of like a new way of like producing for me. I know other people probably already learned this, but like for me, I'll get that swing going, like I've just showed you, and then I'll just simply fit it in with what I've got going on. So. Damn. Again, I know there's easier way to do it than pull it out. It's like down there, but I just pulled it out. Too low. Might just record it in. Little off time on that one, but that's no stress. Just pull it back. Keep missing it. So. Okay, so right now I'm hearing it's like a little slow, so I'm gonna. I actually just pulled it up an octave and it sounds like cool. So now I'm just sort of going to get it sitting right. Again, I got like no rules. I'm just going to mess around and see what sounds good. I feel like the bass could be a bit louder. So I'm actually just going to put a TT. One of my favorite plugins, again, Akuma. It's just an OTT, but Akuma made it, and it's just like so big. Already you can hear the two basses clashing. So I'm just gonna like have them sitting right because like I want to have it so I can actually hear it right. I'm gonna go in with the saturator again. Oh, sorry, I'll pull Serum up here. See that sounding there? And also I do this a lot too. I just like, if I start to get to like a cool place with one, I'll just duplicate it, Command D, and I will just start it again and see what else I can come up with. And then it gets really cool because you can sort of get into like all these layers and infinite sort of like possibilities. Okay, and also, so what I do like to do here, I just check. All right, so how I get some layers sitting nicely, and I will wrap this up real soon. This is super basic work, but I will just show you like the little things that I do, and I did want to show you like this little last piece. So like layering has been so fun to me. I didn't realize there's like a whole other art to layering music and whatnot. I used to sort of just like put one layer of like sound design. I didn't realize you could do like a few other layers. So essentially with layering, I again, I'll get a piece of sound design that I like, I'll get it swinging, duplicate that. And what we want to do is we want to sort of get this bad boy into the background. So I will actually or pull up Serum again. Hang on. I lose it. I've got like a few different screens. It's just here. Okay, so because we already actually have a Serum that has that quarter note, I want to open one. Let's do the 8. Sorry, I really like that sound. It's cool. You don't need to edit the sound. I just kind of want to. Okay, so I get this funny little guy called Convolver. I think it is part of the KHS. Okay, Killer Hearts. This thing is awesome. Okay. So you can actually just I'm actually just going to turn it back to, it sounds better in 1/4 instead of 1/8. You can do 1/8, but maybe with more, not a background. You can actually, it doesn't matter, but yeah. Okay, sweet. That's hitting like a nice empty apartments. Okay, EQ. Wait, we've already done that. We need, sorry, not EQ, utility. It's late. You can hear a massive difference. It's just like the tiniest sound, like. So it's really important actually to get a few different like background layers. And then you can also put a frequency shifter in it, again from Kilohertz. Frequency shifter has been awesome too, just awesome for layering. It can get a bit weird though, so sometimes don't push it too much. Okay, and then there is like obviously a whole lot more that I'll do to this, but I'm just trying to show you like the simple things right now. Not the last thing, but the last thing I will show you is, remember how we had 2 different LFOs? We had 2 different LFOs in Serum. One of them was hitting at 1/2, so 1/2, and then the other was hitting at like 1/4. You can actually do some fun stuff with automation on that second LFO rate. So we want Serum. I'm actually just going to go in and click which knob I need so it just pops up in the automation straight away. I need this one. Okay. See, it pops up straight away. Haha. So what I do sometimes as well, just to sort of like give it a little at the end, I do add a lot more effects and stuff in, like that's a bit much. I actually didn't even mean to sort of do that. It kind of sounds like wrong, but right, so I'm gonna leave it. And as I said effects, I realized I have hardly put any effects into this at all. But hopefully it can show you there's a whole space for effects and impacts and build up and stuff. I hit those guys more when I hit the drop and like when I'm hitting that end bar. But look, I'll show you some like effects. Let's do it. You know what? I'm just gonna look for a roll instead, because like that's so daunting.
Wow, you can't roll with us.
Some of the samples are so funny. Soldier Boy. Effects are picky, man. They're fiddly. Cool, it's one of my old rolls from another track I've done. Just use that. Yeah, I did that. Freeze roll. Okay, so essentially I would just kind of like put it there. And see how the track just built itself? That's what I mean. Start from 33 and yeah, it just built itself. So take that out. Don't need you. I'm a strong, independent woman. It kind of sounds like shit, so let's make it better. Have you heard of Infiltrator? Has anyone? Infiltrator is my most used plugin. This plugin produces such special results. Nexus and Duffy showed it to me. They also spent 3 hours trying to get it onto my computer past all the security settings and stuff. Not that we cracked it. Like my computer just wouldn't. Like it was like no, but yeah, I'm glad I have it now because oh my god, look at this thing, it's freaking insane. Infiltrator is such a good plugin. Use Infiltrator, y'all. I'm not even going to keep moving because the thing is, if you keep going with this bad boy, you'll just be there all night. Look at all of the stuff you can like click on Infiltrator and mess with. Okay, so let's play it all together. So obviously there is room for so much more, but like it's so minimal what you can do, and you can get it sort of swinging. I usually, honestly, I do sit on that sound design a lot more, flicking knobs. I just sort of didn't want to go too far with it and like mash it up, because sometimes I can like do that. Like I know other people do it too. Like you just go way too far in Serum and there's no Command Z, and you can't go back. So essentially I was kind of keeping it in the lines, but you know what, I might do another one of these and get like super into it. And I was thinking as well, maybe do like a D&B one as well, like build a D&B track just from scratch. And I think I've only ever built 2 of those. So let us know, I guess, what you want to see from me and other people. I am releasing more music in the year too, so I can break those down, but they got to come out first. So in the meantime, let me know if you want to go into more heavier sound design or build a D&B track. Thank you. All right, bye.
Ground.